Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. I may be stepping over my bounds here, but I mentioned that I would wait, but I just thought this is so easy. And if you didn't watch part one, I just think personally these lines and that line right there is from I'm off the page. These lines could be a lot better, and you could do a lot better with them and pretty easy. I'm going to take an ellipse. And once you kind of get it where you want it, we're pretty close, but I've got my nudge factor set real low. And look at that, I'm pretty near the center of all of them. I'm going to go ahead and do all three of them at the same time, Control D and make a duplicate, holding down the control button so they should be matched. See how that goes up through there? And it needs to be a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit more down. I need to change most laser engravers, I was learning this a long time ago, 0.001, because that gives you a lot smaller little movement, and we can pretty much get that right in the center. Now that top one might not be, the whole thing might not even need to be symmetrical. And then Control D and make a duplicate, holding down the control button or the shift key. So there's what we kind of have. Now I'm going to change my nudge factor to like 4 inches like we had it. And I'm going to nudge these lines out of the way. And then, there's several ways to do this. I'm going to make sure I can get rid of these lines after I'm through with them. And I can. So what I want to do is, I really ought to contour off this stuff, but I think it's going to be easier just to take a 2-point line and draw a 2-point line from there to there. Now I want it longer than that, so I'm going to take my pick tool and just expand it out. Now, since that ought to be the same, I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard and mirror it and see if it doesn't match up over here, and it doesn't. So see, the whole thing is not symmetrical. So let's just delete that. You don't have to hit the calculator. And we're going to go from right there to right there. Or you could change it and make it symmetrical. Now we just need to do these couple of lines down here. But what I can do now is I can take these lines and nudge them over. You know what? I don't think I made that one long enough. So I'm going to take my pick tool and just expand it out. And then I'm going to nudge it over. That's going to be my starting and stopping point. See how it's not even on that circle? That might be intentional. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. But if I was doing, I'm just kind of giving them an idea. And take your pick tool and elongate it, so we'll make sure when we move over there. One thing I did a no-no, I didn't hold down the shift key. If you'll hold down the shift key, when you're expanding it, it'll span it both ways. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate and mirror it and see if it won't fit over here. And see, these aren't perfect, so I'm going to just leave it, call that good. I'm going to take another 2-point line, and now this is something you could probably contour off that skull. I'm going to go ahead and make it longer by holding down the shift key. And then I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard and mirror it. And I'm going to call that good. Now I'm going to nudge that line over. I'm going to nudge that line over. I'm going to nudge that line over. And I'm going to nudge that line over. I don't know why. I keep hitting a disc or something. Now we need to change these lines to thicker lines. So let's go. Matter of fact, we can do it all at the same time. Let's start with the inside. Hold down the shift key. Get the second one and the third one. 3 objects selected. Let's make them 2 points. That's pretty close. See, and if you don't have see, that's too thick. So we can go 2.5. I am going to convert the outlines to an object, and then I'm going to left click, right click. And what's going to happen is these lines I drew, and see why I made them longer? These lines I drew, so before I do anything, I'm going to group this together, Control G, and I'm going to take my Smart Fill tool, fill in that, 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 and that. Now, the reason I group this together, I can move it out of the way. Group these together, Control G, and we're still nudging. They might be a little bit thicker. And actually, if we're going to do reverse engraving, then we want to left click, right click, and make it looks awful thick. Oh, I did not take away the old lines. So let's back up here. I'm still going to left click, right click. And I need to get rid of the old lines. I thought, man, that really looks bad. Now, I could use the virtual save and delete key, or I could try to break the curve apart, and then I can select that. And see, these actually had double lines. It's almost kind of good to know. And that I could have done that myself. He could have done it, or whoever vectorized it. It won't really matter. Whoop, we took away our outline. And I just took away the outline. I just think it's a lot better looking. Okay, take these lines and move them back. Take our Smart Fill tool and fill it in. See how much better the lines look? And I wouldn't even change anything. I mean, I did it real crudely, real fast. You know, it doesn't have to meet the skull perfectly. You know, you could make it contour off that skull perfectly. I think what it is, the logo is not centered. Let's do this. Let's prove this. Control G to make a group. See if our page is open in the center. He's got a weird page size. And hit P, put it in the center of the page. I'm thinking our page isn't even centered. That's why the lines are off. You know, it's not centered with the roof. You know, even the skull head, you know, where's the center? That looks like the center, but there's more lines on that side. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and hope I didn't step on his toes any and go overboard. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.